Okay, guys. So, I think this next part is also going to be a little bit of review for you guys. Arrays, objects, arrays and objects. If it's too simple, I might also incorporate tomorrow's stuff today and give you guys these two labs. From the last lab, how many of you guys, most of you guys got it? Does anyone have any struggles? I think it might have been just review. So let's go ahead and just roll through arrays, and objects. And if it's all like super straightforward, I'll jump onto this and then I'll give you guys even more time for your project. Okay? So, arrays. What's an array? Anybody? List of items is better because it can be it doesn't only have to be a string. It can also be a number, another array, an object, a function, anything, right? Okay? So an array is square brackets. Okay? Okay, and like these are the kind of things that when you go from one programming language to another, you realize there is no difference really. These are the things that kind of repeat. Like in Python, for instance, they have arrays the same way. They're just called lists, right? Yes, lists. But and then objects are called dictionaries. Exact same thing. Square brackets, curly braces, same thing, right? So an array is like this, okay? Square bracket, empty array. How? I can also go ahead and say let A equals new array as well. Same thing, okay? This is called the constructor. Okay, there's a lot. We'll go into more detail about that later. But you can do that with a lot of things, objects, arrays, and whatnot. Okay, so I think you can put it in here. I'm not sure. No, you have to put. No, you can't do it that way. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Okay, back to this traditional array. How do I add an item to this array? Push. Push works. Push, and we'll just do hello. Okay, boom, array now has hello in it. What's another way to add something to an array? Unshift, and then say, cool. Whoops. Cool. What did unshift do? Puts it at the beginning, right? What's the opposite now? How was the opposite of unshift? Shift. What will shift do? Remove it, right? Shift, boom. Now it's gone. Okay. How do I remove? What's the opposite of push? Pop, right? And you see it returns the hello. So if you set that equal to something, you'd have hello. All right, back to square one. Nice. What's another way to add things into an array? What was it?
Is there a shovel notation?
Shovel? Like the fat arrow thing?
Yeah. You don't have that for Java?
There might be. Like a this you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? Or with the fat arrow. There is something like this, some sort of bitwise operator thing. But what I was looking for, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. I'll look it up. I'll look it up later. And we'll look at it. But I was looking at as if you can put in like this. Yo. See that? So now I just set the specific array, right? So let's empty it out again. I think you can do it. Is empty jQuery? I don't remember. Yeah, it is. Let's just reset our array. Do that. And we'll go ahead and we'll say let array equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, clear. There's our array. How would I insert something? How would I get the third value? AR2, right? How would I replace that with something else? Equals something else, right? Right? Now we have it there. Okay? So, you can mutate arrays. this way, so at specific indexes. Okay. So also, just so you guys know, you can always push in other arrays into arrays. This is known as a what? Multi-dimensional array. This specifically is a two-dimensional array. So you can also push in or unshift or whatnot functions, right? So just be like Alright, so now our first thing is a function, as you see. So how would I call this function? Array 0. That would get it for me. And then, like you call every other function, parentheses. Alright? Okay? So, a lot of different things you can do. Right? You can store anything.
Would you ever like actually put a function into an array?
Oh yeah, especially objects. Lots of times you put functions in objects. Actually, perfect point. So, let's look at our window. This is our browser window. So sorry with all these errors here. Clear that. Can I just see the window by itself, or is it going to flip out again? Okay. So inside the window, there are all these functions. Look at window.close. See, it's a function, right? This is the whole window, the DOM, everything is an object. Objects inside of objects, functions inside of them. So for instance, even the methods you use, like split or like a join or like anything, right? Push, pop, all these are in here somewhere, right? And that's how you're able to use them. Let me see. Prompt, right? So say for instance, window.close, right? See how it's a function? Right? If I go ahead and I call it window.close, see you later. Right? So, like, there's all sorts of, like, yeah, you definitely store functions and objects and in arrays. Mostly, a lot of times in objects.
So if you want, like, functions to run in a certain, like, you run a loop through the array of functions, and it will execute each function one by one.
You could, but it'd probably just close the window before you got all the way through. Or something. But yeah, you definitely could execute all these. But that's all this is that's all the browser is one giant object. And inside of this object, there's lots of other objects, including the document object, which has all this HTML stuff inside the body, right? And then you have, like, for instance, these are just like strings and numbers inside of an object, right? And then you have all these other events, right? So have you ever heard, how you go into, we're about to get into this, but say at the very, there's a ton of stuff. But say at the very end of it, right? So, you have a document. You heard of like get element by ID, all these kinds of things. These are all methods inside of the document object. Okay, so you have boom. Document's a little strange one to show you, but trust me, it's there. Document.getElementById, and that's a function, right? So this is how all this works. And this is it's all you're actually just using a bunch of functions that were already defined for you. Split, push, all these kinds of other things, right? So yeah, you can also create your own data objects that have all this stuff in there. So yeah, so that's, so you can store anything you'd like, including other objects, and that's what's referred to as object-oriented programming, right? Objects within objects within objects, so yada, 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 okay? And you create your own instances of these objects with constructors, and then you'll get used to this terminology when we keep going. So let's go ahead and stick with this. But for now, let's just focus on the stuff we can do: adding to arrays, indexing arrays, yada yada. Unshifting arrays, we already covered. Splice is a good one. Splice. Anyone know how splice works? It cuts it out, right? So this is how you would cut something out of an array. So let me go ahead and open up. Sometimes I think it's not worth doing CodePen. Hold on a second. Let me get this. So grab this. Okay. Now array names is 2. Okay, because I spliced at the 0 index 1. Let me do that again. Okay. So we have an array called names, right? And we'll do, I don't know, let's see, Jose, and we'll do Alejandro, and we'll do Lauren. Okay? Alright, so we got our names. Okay, and now say I want to splice Alejandro out of there. How do I do it? Splice, the first number is where, so 0, 1, 2. And the second number is how much do I splice. So we say 1, 1. Right? There he is, and there it is. Okay? So that's like splice, and you can splice as many as you wanted to, right? So if I went back up and filled it back in, and I said names.splice, and I spliced 2 of them, only Jose would be left, right? And you can also, with splice, replace it with something. Okay? So you got boom. You can go names.splice, and you can splice in, say, instead of Alejandro, I can go ahead and splice him out, and then replace him with whoever I want, right? Like that. Names. Okay? Right? And I can splice as many people as I want, so forth and so on. Okay? So splice is really useful for deleting stuff. Okay? Now if I did this, say I wanted to get rid of Jose, right? But I might think this would work, but it's not gonna, because now I reset them to be empty. Okay, so I still have my array is still 3 long. Okay, so you really want to use splice in this situation, or otherwise you do something like that and then do like an unshift or something like that. Right. Cool. So these are like the most basic array things, and you can always look them up. Okay. Oh, cool. All right, so we're gonna start doing for eaches and stuff like that. All right, so this might take us a little bit. Cool. So what will happen here? Loop through the array, showed everyone. Okay. What other ways can I do that? For each. Okay. I keep doing that. I don't know why I keep doing that. Okay. Names. Let names. Okay. So now, how do I do it for each? What's the syntax? Names dot for each, and this is just like a method like every other method. But you don't put something in here, like with splice and stuff or whatever, you put stuff right in here. But you don't put like a string in here. You put a function, right? So you put a function in this whole thing. Okay? And that function gets executed on each one of those guys. Okay? Okay, they come through as a parameter, and now inside this parameter, you can do whatever you want to them. Okay? So I'm just going to alert them, right? Jose, Alejandro, Laura. Right? So it went through each one of them. Okay? tons of times when this would be useful, okay? What's the newer syntax for this? Arrow function, right? So names dot for each again, and then what? And the arrow function. You don't necessarily. Okay, I want you to like. You don't have to actually have the curly braces if it's all one line. Like you can do. This is probably the most minimal you can write this, but you might want to do more than one line. You could also have curly braces around this in case you want to say, for instance, do something in here, like say name equals name to uppercase or something, right? And now everybody's uppercase, right? Okay. Another thing. Let me see one thing real quick. If I do this real quick. Okay, never mind. Okay. Name equals 1 second. No. Okay, never mind. It's not right. Sometimes with for each loops. Did we cover maps yet? Let me see. It's not in here yet. Let's get comfortable with for each loops then. I won't make it more complicated yet. Yeah, forget it. Maps is another way of looping through stuff. For this time being, you can just assume it basically does the same thing. Instead of for each, for instance, if I did map, and I did names, and then I did map, it'll still do the same thing. Only difference is it returns a copy of an array. But we'll get into that. That'll be very important in React. We'll get into that later. For right now, you can assume map and for each are the same. Okay. One other thing about for each that I wanted to bring up. When you do this, it takes a second parameter. And that parameter is the index. So it goes 0, 1, 2 in case you need it. So just like in a for loop, for instance, you might have that 1, 0, 1, 2 you might need. This also takes a second argument there. And to write this in the newer syntax would be something like this. Like that. Okay? Same idea. All right? Same thing as doing, that's right, I is less than names dot length, I plus plus, console.log, names, I, comma, I, like this, same thing, okay? So you have these options, right? And more, probably, a lot more. But generally speaking, these are all just different ways of doing the same kind of loop thing, okay? The for loop, you can do break and continue. It's actually also the most performant. But for each is sometimes easier to read and nice and clean. So which one you use on your projects is kind of up to you. You'll notice that when React comes around, we use map, then it's important to use map. But we won't get into that for now. So, split. Any questions on for each? No? Simple? Yeah? Okay. All right. You'll be using it a lot. So split. What's split do? Anybody? Row 2? Anybody on row 2? What does split do? I think it does actually return an array. Yeah, but a little more. So if I have this is a sentence full of fabulous words, right? and I'll set this to be a string. Okay. Now, Don, how would I use it? Yeah, nice. str.split, and would it be with a space and a comma? Semicolon. No. This is kind of optional, actually. Okay. What's this gonna do? Yeah, very good. Right, boom. Nice. That's pretty common thing to do, right? Okay. So, cool. What else could I do? You can split on anything, okay? So you could also say, for instance, split on every, I don't know, S. Okay. Oh, array 2. Right? And then you have it splits on every S if you, whatever reason you wanted to do that. Right? This makes way more sense. Right? And if you wanted to split it all into each character, you could just do str.split with no space. And now that'll be every letter. Right? Cool. Nice. What's the opposite of split? It's not here, but we'll just go over it real quick. Join. Okay? Nice. So how would I use join with my new array of words? r.join. Right? And then what's this going to do? Uh-oh. The quotes? Quotes? Space. Space, right? Or you can put whatever you want in there, like a smiley face. Okay? Right? So, that's basically split, join, for each, push, unshift, shift, pop, and splice. Everyone got all those? Kinda. I mean, you all know, roughly know what you can do, at least. So you might want to look it up if the syntax, forget some of the syntax. But push adds an element to the end, unshift to the beginning, shift removes the first, pop removes the last, splice removes elements from anywhere. Okay. All right. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. Moving on to objects. Okay, so what is an object? It's a data structure. It's a, how does it look? Equal, go ahead. Did I hear, who am I hearing? I can't. Curly braces, okay. Right, boom. Object is curly braces. Or, again, also you can do the constructor, which you might see. Same thing. Okay? Cool. So now we have our object. Also, one thing just to be aware of, type of object is object, but type of array is also object. Just one of those weird, like, interview questions, maybe. Like, all right, so like, just like whatever, just know that's the case. Doesn't really. Is array. Oh yeah. What do you do in front or in back? I forget. Something like that. Ah. I think I broke my computer. What did you tell me, Lauren? The computer really had to think about that. All right, anyways, object. So how do I add something to an object? Object.push. Nope. Look at that. By the way, super useful sometimes. Like I was saying, like you can just go ahead and press a dot and then scroll down and see all your options. These are all the array options, right? You see some of the ones we did. These other ones down below we'll get into later, but these are mostly all the options here. And then for objects, you got nothing. Okay? No. You got this. Object constructor. Okay? This didn't, so not too many. Okay? So how do you add something to an object? Yeah. Nice. Object dot whatever you want, right? So property, or we'll say like dog equals, and we'll say Fido, right? Boom. Now I got an object whose property, what's going on? There we go. Whose property, right? Dog, and key, also known as key, and value is Fido, right? So how do I get Fido back? Same way I put him in there. Object.dog. Okay? Also, there's bracket notation. And there is a difference, but again, one of those things that it's like a small difference, that's a specific difference. I'll talk about that later. Okay? So, Fido. Okay, let me add something else. Object dot, we'll do it with cat. Object dot cat equals, anyone have a cat? What? Camilla? Nuna. Nuna?
Moon in Spanish.
Luna, my bad. Luna. That's a nice name. Object. Okay? Cool. Right? And just like the other one, I can also get this back with square bracket notation. Okay? Objects. Yeah, and these are known as dictionaries in Python, stuff like that. Anyways, why should we use objects? Object definition. Okay. Yeah, you can use this. This is kind of interesting. So objects have different things that you can do. So you can say like dog in object, and they'll be like, yeah, but you already knew that. And then you could also, you can delete with objects. So you can delete dog, I think, or is it you have to delete object dog? Let me see. No, that didn't work. But there's a way to delete something like a key. You can also do object keys, I think. Isn't that? How do you use object keys? Hold on, maybe it's down here. Yeah, I just did that. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, you gotta do capital object dot keys and then pass in the object. And now you'll see all the keys, right? All the values, right? This kind of thing. And this is how you loop through an object. So you say for key in object, console log key, or here's a good one, here's a trick question. How would I console log, using a for loop like this, how would I also, show you my object first. How would I also log not just the key, but also the value? So we got the key, all right? Let me show you what that looks like. We got the key. Dog, cat. We got the object. We want Fido, we want Luna. How am I gonna log that? Yeah. Object dot key. That gonna work? It's not gonna. With the brackets, it would, right? So with a dot, it doesn't show because the dot key. There's looking for the word key. There's no word key. But with the brackets, you can do a variable, right? And that's the difference really between dot notation and bracket notation. Okay? With one you can do these variables, and with the other one you can't. But for 99% of the use cases, you can use them equally. Okay? So, anyways, ever get lost, you just go ahead, you go right to your friend Google, you're like, how to loop through object in JavaScript, or whatever, and for sure, oh man, I think it's going to be that. I usually go for stack first. You go boom, and you see someone already did it for you. There. Okay. Get used to the whole, I don't know who's telling me, but Stack Overflow, copy, paste, enter, fix. All right. So, where did I go? Okay. Cool. Yeah. This way. What's that? To get the value. What do you mean? The value of the pro. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by interpret? Like, what do you mean, like with what? Like square brackets, curly braces, quotes. Like instead of using these square brackets, do something else. We'll look it up later. I think I maybe understand, but I don't know. All right. Cool. We already did all this. Okay. All right. So that's fairly straightforward. All right, and then I'm going to show you one thing. So arrays and objects is next. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay. One of the most common things you're going to use ever is an array of objects. This is like just the most common thing to come back from a database. It's when you guys start doing fetches, when you start doing API requests, anything, it's going to look like this. You're always going to get a response that looks like this. And then you can loop through it and find, like say for instance, all your friends, like all your Instagram friends or whatever, or Facebook friends, or yada yada, or all your pictures, or all your stuff like that. They're almost all gonna be an array of objects, so that you can go loop through them and find out exactly what you want. Right? So then you go like to students, and for instance here I can do like a for each, or I can. So how would I find Ted's age? With this. Just hard coding for now. So, anybody, third row, fourth row? Yeah. So the thing for objects, you mean square brackets or curly braces? Square brackets, and then set to. Dot. Age. Nice. All right. So student 2 was Ted. And now we can either get his name, oops, or we can get his age, right? Okay? How do I expel Sarah? All right, Sarah's getting expelled. I can splice it. I can splice it. So how would I do it? Students. We'll go back here. We'll just type in students again. She is, which one? 3. So what do I do? Dot splice. 3, and I only want to splice 1. Okay, and there she is not there anymore. Okay? How do I set Susie's graduation to true? Or else, yeah, let's do that. I want Susie to have an additional key called graduated with the value true. How do I do that? Students. 1. Yeah, go your gut. Equals. Right? Which is graduated. Equal to true. Okay, nice. Very good. Students, Susie graduated. Right? Stuff like that. Okay? Chad, which one? Yeah, I'd probably use it for each. Or, it's probably a slicker way. Maybe you could do, dot like, because you'd have to add it to the keys, right? Because it's an array, so you want to go. I think you'd have to do a loop. Let me see.
What if it work if you use like students square brackets dot new property?
Student square brackets like this?
Yeah.
Just empty?
New property, whatever it is.
Like that? No. You gotta put something in here.
Yeah.
So that's you do a loop. So you do, yeah, you could do a for each. For sure, for each student. And then we can say student dot whatever is equal to maybe. Wait, I'm missing the closing bracket. There we go, and now in here. Okay, so Susie also has it. Okay, so you can do a loop. It's an interesting question though. Add. How would you word this question? How would you word this question? Property to every object in an array. That looks pretty good. We got 4 each. All right. All right. Are there any better ones? This guy did a map with an object with a spread operator. We're not there yet. This is fancy, but probably kind of confusing.
Yeah, I was thinking the possibility of for something like this over 18, for example, that would be a property that maybe a net statement inside it, and that would kind of make it a little bit hard and secure. So should I call like the function from outside to check it?
So there'd be
true. If it's not, it's false.
right. You could either loop through each one, and then make like a new list. Do you want to return a list of people who are over 18, or?
Yeah, maybe if they are over 18, if they already have the property A, for example, and they are already over 18, I'd like to say the new value for the key would be true.
They are over
Because
18.
It's false.
Okay. So yeah, you do a loop the same way we were doing it before, right? For each, and you say student, all right? Fat arrow, curly braces, and you'll say if this is like the easiest, I think the most easiest way to see it. If student dot age is greater than 18, then student dot over 18 is equal to true, or something like this. All right? Maybe students. Yeah. Right? Over 18. They're the only two over 18, right? So you could do something like that. You could also do a filter. So you could say students dot filter, and this will return. We'll get to this later, though. Any student who student dot age greater than 18, and that will return the two students who are. Right? So there's filter to do this kind of thing. But yeah, generally speaking, just stick to for loops right now and for eaches. We'll get into that stuff really soon, but just get used to the for eaches and for loops right now. So yeah, an array of objects happens. Oh, we haven't gone to nested objects, which we really should do. That's also really common. Okay, how would I get the city of the classroom? City. Anybody? Second row. New? Anyone new? Second row. Second row. Second row. Anybody? Okay. Everybody would like wait for the exact same time. What was it? Classroom dot address dot city. Did I spell something wrong? Ah, yeah, we forgot the teacher. Classroom teacher address city. Okay. So that's how you go into into a nested object. So how would I change city to be Miami? Miami. Right? And now in the classroom, we have again the teacher. In the teacher, we have this there, and Miami's there. Right? Easy. Oh, it's right here. I picked the exact same one. What are the odds? Huh? All right. So then this just become more and more complicated data structures. When you have like a database and stuff like that, you might end up saving a bunch of users, and each user might have like an address, and in each address they might have like a zip code, and then it starts to be like just this, right? Just like you go into it, you loop through it, you find that stuff. Dot notation, bracket notation, it can get endlessly complicated, but you typically don't want to. You'd like to make it more flat than as you can. But yeah, it's like, as you see, this is going into an object, into an array, into another array, into another array, and into a key. Okay. One last little point I'm going to make. It's just like a little bit of a got you. This will be, again, more important when it comes to maps and React, but arrays, when you reference an array, it's not a copy of it. It's the same one. What do I mean by that? Look, if I got the same is true with objects, but let's do an array. Say I have an array, A, comma B, comma C. right? Now, let's make a different array, or so we think, equal to that array. Okay? Now, different array, same thing, right? Makes sense, right? But now, if I go to different array, and I go ahead and I push something new, it's in different array, but guess what? It's also in array. It's a reference, okay? That's not obvious a lot of times. So if you set an array to be a new thing, you're not really making a new one. You have to explicitly make it a copy. You can do that with the ... the spread operator. I'll show you in a second. But as you see, I could push something into a different array, and it went all the way into array. Also, I can do the opposite, right? Right? I can like take something off the beginning of this array, right? I could push something into array 1, and then I would see it also in different array. Yeah? Okay, boom, and then different array. They're connected to the same one. They both refer to the same object. Okay, it's like two names for yourself. Okay, so if I want to make a copy, I have to use. There's a couple ways to do it. You might see object assign, but really the easiest way is the spread syntax now. Right? So we'll say, do I still have array? Array. All right. Say let A equal, comma A, comma B, comma Z, whatever. Okay. There's my array there. Now if I want to make a copy of this, I do ... A. Or not. Hmm? I missed something? Not sure what happened there. Around what? This? Oh, you're right. Thank you guys. Thank you. I screw up all the time, like I said. Okay, and then now we have B, and we have A, right? And now if I go ahead and I say B.push something else, right? You'll see it's in B, but not in A. Okay, and that's how you just make a copy, right? It'll return a whole new array. A lot of these things will, right? Like map will, filter will. Like, yeah, it's a good point because that's why you end up using these when it comes to like React and stuff. Because like with React, you always need a copy. You don't want to mutate the original. Okay, cool. All right. So any questions on arrays, objects, anything like that? Pretty straightforward. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sensing a whole lot of confidence. All right, we'll find out. So let's go ahead and do this next lab. Okay. And okay, clue. Okay, this is a good one. It's a very good lab. So you guys can, I'm going to set a poll if you guys want to do teams or not. And we'll see. We'll see what the crowd decides. Okay. / poll teams. Yes. No. Okay. Voila. Cast your vote. Not this. That was my random key generator. Okay. Okay. Got almost everybody. Do something different this time. Get in your ballots. Alright. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8. I call it another minute. Alright. Everyone who's wanted to vote voted? Yeah? Okay. And take these 6 people. I'm going to put on teams. Everybody else can work individually. Is that fair? Alright. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Number teams 3. Yeah. Does this work? I do it per line. Oh man. They don't like these @ signs. Ah. Cool. Number teams 3. Huh? What do I keep hitting? So go ahead and try to knock that out. And if we're done early, we'll start on DOM manipulation. Are these 3 teams just like right next to each other?
No.
Okay. That was, what a coincidence. You want to.